Okay, the first thing you want to do is find the basic shapes of what you are drawing, and the first basic shape you might have already noticed is the triangle. Now we're not going to draw our triangle all the way out like this. We're going to just draw a triangle that will represent this space. So on your paper, you will kind of draw this in the center of your paper, and this triangle slopes a little bit to the left, so I'm going to try to recreate that by sloping my triangle as well. Once you have your triangle drawn, we're going to recreate this funky shape here. Once you have your triangle drawn, you are going to recreate this shape here. And the shape starts with a curved line that ends almost at the bottom of the triangle. So we're going to recreate that curved line. It stops about here. And the bottom of this shape starts just below the middle of our triangle, and it's going to curve up and then drastically change directions and angle down and stop at the same length pretty much of our first line that we drew. So I'm going to curve up and angle down and stop there. Now the little ball on the end of our hat is overlapping the end of that shape, and so we're going to draw a circle here. It doesn't have to be perfect. That'll overlap that shape. And then we can erase where our circle overlaps the end of our hat. Next, we are going to draw a rectangle that runs into the bottom of our triangle. So our rectangle will be about here, here, go across. It's going to overlap our circle. And be about here. Where it overlaps the circle, you will erase your circle. And that is the basic shapes of our Santa hat. Once you have the basic shapes, you want to go back and change the shape up to... Once you have the basic shapes drawn, you want to alter your shapes in any way that need to be altered so they imitate the reference photo. So first, we're going to recreate this curved line here on the left side of Santa's hat. It starts at the bottom left-hand corner of the triangle, and it start going up. We curve in, and we curve back up and curve back towards the top of that triangle. Is the shape that you'll see, and then we can erase the left side of this triangle. And there's a second line here that we need to draw that curves and slopes into that curved line that ends at the tip of the hat. So we're going to curve our line, slant, and slope into the curved line that is the end of our hat, and erase whatever is left over of that original part of the triangle. We're going to do the same thing for the right side. So this side of our hat curves once, and then it curves twice, and then curves a third time and ends before it reaches the other end of our hat. So we're going to do that. We're going to start in this corner. We're going to curve up and over, and then we're going to make another curve here, and then curve up and stop our line. Now we can erase what's left of the original triangle. And there should be space left between this line and this line, okay? Okay, the last part of our hat that we're gonna alter is this bottom part of the hat here. We have 3 curves on the left side and this corner should be curved. If you keep following that line, it curves up once, twice, 3 times. And then the right side is curved, and then we've got a little curvy line there as well. So we're gonna start here, just above this bottom left-hand corner of that original triangle. We're going to curve around once, twice, 3 times. I'm gonna draw across. 2, 3 curves. And when I'm drawing, I am constantly looking back and forth between my reference photo and my drawing. Going to curve this corner, create that little indent here, curve back out. Following, and it does not have to be perfect. I believe the more differences you have, the more character this hat can have. Now I'm going to erase what's left of my original rectangle. All right, now that I've erased my original shapes, I've got my Santa's hat created, I'm going to draw the shapes that represent these dark shadows. I'm going to start with this long curved shadow that starts in this shape and it ends in the original triangle. It comes to a point if you pay close attention. So I'm going to start with one line that curves down and to the right. I'm going to come back to this point and curve down and around again and end with a curved line. Once you have that shape drawn, we're going to move on to the tornado shape that is attached to the top of this line. That is created by a curved line. It curves up like that. And another curved line. There are a lot of curved lines in this drawing. Once you've completed that, we have 1, 2, 3 little hills. Okay, we start with the big hill, a medium hill, and then we have a little hill. So it's connected here at the bottom. They look like little hills to me. Another little hill, and then we're going to move on to this shadow, which is one whole shape that has 3 curved lines creating it, spaced just a little bit away from that last little hill that we drew. So I'm going to skip a little bit of space, draw one. This curve reaches pretty close to the outside of the hat, so I'm going to extend it to about here. Once again, I'm constantly looking back and forth between my drawing and the reference photo. So once we complete this shadow, we're going to create another shadow that is similar to that shape. It's just a little bit smaller and it's curving towards this little puff ball at the end of the hat. So it's going to have 1, 2, 3 curved lines. And we've got 1, 2 thinner shadows that angle down towards the bottom of the hat. I'm going to draw that there. Here, and then this final shape has another little line and then it ends on the puff ball. So going to curve around like that. Okay, that is it for the shape of Santa's hat. Now we are going to split this drawing up into 3 sections. One section will be for stippling, one section will be for hatching, and one section will be for Zentangles. We are just going to freehand these lines. The best way to draw a straight line is to pull the line towards you, not by moving the wrist, but by moving your entire arm and pulling it towards you. So I want a diagonal line that is going to cut across the top of this hat. And the best way to draw that is to turn my paper, starting on one side of the paper, and I am just pulling my arm towards me. Now I'm going to draw a second line that starts about here and angles toward this corner of the paper. So I'm turning my paper a little bit. I'm gonna draw that second line. Now I've got 1, 2, 3 sections. And that is where we end the drawing section of this project.